And hello to our
Hello.
next episode. Hi, Vaishali.
Hi.
Vaishali was with us on mental health episode, and I invited her back to studio so we can talk a little bit more and give her a chance for Vaishali to explain in depth what she's doing and what her experience with coaching, with other meditation, and well, basically her work in the field. So welcome back, Vaishali, and I'm glad you're here. Um, can you just, in few words, again explain what you do? Talk a little bit about the best part of your passion work, and we'll take it from there.
So that's absolutely right. Passion is the word. I think everything that I do is driven by that passion. And the passion is all about contributing. Every morning that I wake up, the first thing that I think of is that how can I contribute today?
Mhm.
I like to inspire people to live a fulfilled life, to live a life with a purpose, something that adds value to their life. And also believing in themselves, going
Mhm.
deep within, strengthening that connection, and at the same time having the sense of belongingness with the external world as well. So this is what I do in a nutshell. I am a happiness and wellness consultant, as we put it as title. And I'm also a philanthropist. I've had some experience with humanitarian work. My model of work for quite some time now has been in such a way where it's like a full circle. So there is this holistic approach to life that I kind of work on, and whatever contribution that I get, or whatever energy exchange, as we put it in our holistic world, we get, it goes back. Some of it goes back to the society. So it's like a full circle that that's the model that I work on. Um, and I've had some very interesting experiences when I look back at life, when I look back at some of the work that is being done. Sometimes it makes me wonder whether it was me or whether somebody up there was making it happen, because you surprise yourself, right, with some of the stuff. It's like, "Oh, did I really do that?" So yeah, it's been a very, very interesting journey, and I've come to a space where I think there's a lot of gratitude now for everything that
Mm.
is.
Fascinating. Yeah. Why coaching? Why philanthropist? Why meditation? Where did it come from?
So I think coaching is something that was very natural from the very, very beginning. Even when I was working with an airline for quite some time, for 14 years actually, I was with them, and there as well, my role was such, where we were designing development journeys, and there was a little bit of training, HR support, so there was a lot of people interaction,
Mhm.
and coaching came very, very naturally to me. But then there came a point where I'm like, no, okay, this is something that, you know, I do want to continue doing coaching, but I want to learn a little bit more about the techniques, the different techniques that you can use. Organically, it was very natural, but learning the techniques makes it even more meaningful because you can go into the depth of certain things, certain issues, or whatever it is that you're coaching on. So coaching was very natural for me. Humanitarian work, I think also from my childhood, I have always had that eye for it, where it was always about sharing. It was always about, I could always identify the difference. Like if there is something, there's an opportunity somewhere. Like I'll give you an example, not from my childhood, but from when I was working in the airline. So I used to drive every day. My office was about 30 minutes away from the city, and every day I used to drive past. And one fine day I noticed, like, I'm like, there's this bus stop, and we stay in a very, very hot country, right? There's this
Mm-hmm.
bus stop right outside our office. And you have all of these, blue collared employees standing there in that heat. We didn't have an AC bus stop at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, my car is going empty every day to the city, 30 minutes drive, right? I'll just stop and I'll ask if anybody wants to hop in and want to ride. And that's how I've always looked for opportunities. And I did. The first first time I asked, obviously they were all shocked that, okay, why somebody, and especially a woman, she's stopping and she's asking. So they probably had some
Mm-hmm.
doubts in their
Mm-hmm.
mind. But one of them hopped in. It was really hot that day. And he hopped in. It was so amazing because that entire drive, I got to know about this person, who had his family back home. He hadn't been home for 2 years. What a wonderful conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made it a habit that every day when I go past, so once one person jumped in the car, then it was very easy for everybody else the next time. So,
Volunteers,
people
yeah.
hopped in. So these little things, I feel like humanitarian work is not something that you have to really plan, and it doesn't have to be big. It's in your day-to-day life,
Mm-hmm.
making a difference at the end of the day. Little things can make a big difference. So yeah, so it was always there. It was always a part of my life, and then there came a time where I felt like, no, maybe I want to do more. um so yeah, so then, opportunities, when you say yes, I feel when you are in that yes mind, opportunities will come. It will just present itself, and then all you have to do is just act on it. So I
Mm-hmm.
was very, very lucky with those opportunities. There was, one which which is very close to my heart, is we have a children's home in Nepal,
Mm-hmm.
and I've adopted that children's home, and it's very, very beautiful. 33 kids. It's small, cozy little place. Um, but there is so much that you learn, when you do this kind of work. There's so much to be grateful for, that, when we work with these kids. So anything that is, remotely touching that soft side of the social, uh, you know, I don't know what we call it, what words we can use, but social well-being of everybody,
Mm-hmm.
equality. When you work for these kind of causes, it really strikes a chord within me for sure. So that's how the humanitarian came in.
So, how meditation is connected to all that humanitarian work?
See, meditation, the normal understanding of meditation, when when anybody hears it, most of the time people think it's like really concentrating and, like disconnecting and focusing. And no,
Mm-hmm.
meditation isn't that. What is meditation? We are constantly, our mind is chattering. Right now, we are talking, but there's something going on in the mind, right? No matter what we're doing, we are driving, whatever we are doing, the mind is constantly chattering. Now, how do we bring that mind to a restful state?
Mm-hmm.
When we are able to do that, and there are different techniques in meditation, yoga, that you can do. When you're able to do that, you're able to be more centered. And when I say more centered, is more integrated, more in control, more in awareness of what is happening around you. You get deeper sleep. We all sleep at night, but there's so many times, even if you would have slept for 10 hours, when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you feel so tired,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel like, oh my God, I slept for 10 hours and I'm still. Why? Because the mind is still active, the chattering is still going on, right? So, how do we bring that mind to rest? Sleep is so important as well, quality sleep, because that's when the body repairs itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, that quality sleep is very important, and that you can get when you practice meditation. It doesn't have to be, something very big, even 15 minutes every day, 20 minutes every day. If you give to yourself, sit in silence and just observe. There are so many different techniques. There's some techniques where you just sit in silence, you observe your thoughts, what is happening inside you, and slowly and gradually you come into that space of it happening very, very naturally. So how it how it helps with the with the humanitarian work. Sleep, for example, trauma relief, stress relief. When you do yoga, when we do right breathing. See, from the time we are born, or from the time a child is born, the first act of life is breathing in, and the last act of life is breathing out.
Breathing out.
Everything in between is breath. Our emotions are directly connected with breath. When we are angry, we breathe differently. When we are happy, we breathe differently. When we are in love, we breathe differently. When we're nervous, we breathe differently. Just like that, just like how our breath changes with our emotions, when we start working with our breath, we can change the way we feel.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment you feel that anger is coming up, it's rising up, you change your breathing pattern, you do a certain pranayam, and you can instantly calm yourself down. Why that is important is because any decision that we make, right, if you make from a space of anger, a space of instability, you know more often than not, it's not going to be turning out to be one of the wisest decisions. But
Mm-hmm.
when you make any decisions from a calm and a clear state of mind, that 9 times out of 10, you will make a good decision. And every decision that we make, all the choices that we make today, is shaping up our future at the end of the day. Right? So, what this moment is offering right now, if we're not true to this moment, if we're not able to be in this present moment, see, present moment is so important. Everything that is life is happening right now. But if you observe, the mind is why there is stress, why there is depression, why there is so much of anxiety people are facing right now, because the mind is either really stuck in the past and regretting everything, events that have happened, and kind of playing it as a reel in your mind, or so anxious and worried about the future. Right? What's going to happen tomorrow?
True, true.
What about me? And like we spoke about in the last video about the social media part of it, like the feeling of missing out, the FOMO is such a big thing, that, oh my God, I'm left out. What's going to happen to me? Life is only in this moment. This is the only moment that is real. Right now, we are
Mm-hmm.
here sitting and having this conversation. The past is only a memory, it doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
exist. Right? And the future we haven't seen, we are not there yet, we're not living there, we are only in this moment. So when we are able to bring our mind from the past and the future into this moment, automatically a lot of stress gets relieved,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not stuck, you're not vacillating between the past and the future. You are here right now. Okay, what can I do right now? There's a chaotic situation in front of me. What can I do right now? You can think if you're present, you can do something about it if you're present, fully present. But if your mind is here and there, then you are shaky the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
meditation is something that helps, anybody to come and live in that present moment, to be able to relieve that stress, to be able to have that quality sleep. Like I'll give an example. So I have done some work with the refugees in Irbil in Kurdistan,
Mm-hmm.
and um, it was really amazing because it was my first. I've been there a couple of times, but the first time when I went, I was like, I didn't know what to expect, because I hadn't, first there's a language barrier. And then I'm teaching them something that's very, very new to them. They haven't done yoga or meditation. And I was like, but I went with full faith. I'm like, we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of when we completed that 1 week of yoga and meditation, I am not joking. The number of people that came, they hugged, so many of them cried and said, we want more of this.
That's
We
nice.
feel alive. Can you do something that this can be regular for us?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, language also is not a barrier for to learn something like this. And once you learn these techniques, you are independent. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to go somewhere to feel good. You see what I'm saying? You do a few prana, you become more aware about yourself. You become more aware about your mind, your body, your responses, what triggers you. And the moment you know something is triggering and it's coming up, you have the tools, you have the techniques, you sit,
You can
you know,
change. Mm-hmm.
change that. So you are more in control, in power of, how you want to drive your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think especially now, the even the moment when you stop and take a
Yeah.
breath and just try to give your brain a break, that's really important. It's really hard to do nowadays, especially with, fast life that we have at the moment.
Yeah,
But I think there is more and more, not only proof that it's good for your mind and body, but it's becoming like a necessity
it is.
that
It is.
that you really reach into the point sometimes that, like, I have to stop. I have to just give myself a break. All the
Yeah,
problems will be still there, all the issues will be still there, but me mentally, I'll just need to take 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever the
mm,
meditation
yeah.
works for you. And yeah, I think it's
It,
becoming more and more
yeah.
mainstream now.
Dream. It's yeah. It's no longer a luxury that, oh, I am going for my
Yeah,
yoga classes. No, I
yeah.
need my yoga class. It's more like
I
that.
need my
And
15 minutes meditation. Yes.
exactly. But a very, very good point that you mentioned, that all the problems are still going to be there, but I
Mm-hmm.
still need to have that break. When you start meditating, when you start practicing meditation, you will automatically realize that the problems that seem to be so big in my mind are actually so manageable.
Mm-hmm.
Just because
Mm-hmm.
I now have clarity of my mind, I am now aware of what I need to do. I am now aware of what is triggering me, what is causing that emotions. A problem becomes very big because the emotions are triggered. The emotions take it over and then it
Mm-hmm.
magnifies, right? A problem really magnifies. And then the moment the problem magnifies, you automatically start feeling like a victim.
Mm-hmm. The
A lot of
reaction.
time,
Mm-hmm.
the reaction, right? Because you feel that something is bigger than you. But in reality, there is nothing that's bigger than you. You are the center of your own universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
This whole universe exists because you exist for you, right? For me, the whole universe is there because I am there. So I am the center of my universe.
Mm-hmm.
So how can anything be bigger than me, right?
No, no.
And I'm not discounting the fact that there are certain challenges that are very, that can be overwhelming and that can really, disturb emotionally and in other ways as well, especially now. But it's not the end of the world. Just reach
Mm-hmm.
out. There are so many people out there now to help. They're ready to help. There are so many people who are waiting for, and it's not when you reach out to somebody, and this is especially for those people who are experiencing anxiety, depression. It's not that, you're only asking for help from somebody, you are giving them something as well to do,
Mm-hmm.
allowing them, giving them an opportunity to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a one way thing, it's a two-way thing. They are also gaining something. If somebody comes to me, I'm so grateful for that person to choose me and having the trust in me, and also the fact that there's so much I would learn from that experience. It's not that I have something very, I'm higher than you and I have something to offer that, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not that. It's just about I'm here. It's that belongingness that we need to create, that we all belong to each other. At the end of the day, we all are there for each other, just being there. It doesn't matter whether I know you or I don't know you. It doesn't matter whether you're of my religion or not. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter what your belief is and mine is, but I am there. I am
Mm-hmm.
available and I want nothing from you. So, these are some of the simple things. If we all started, I think, doing this, already people who are experiencing these mental health issues, they are already now becoming more and more open because society is becoming more in acceptance of it, and they talk. More people talk about it, the more normal it is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, More and more people are talking about it. More and more people are being available as well, to reach out. So I think it's
So, from here, I want to ask you, how would you suggest someone to try the meditation, either coaching? Because, many people are still reluctant to even give it a try. I understand that maybe they are not ready, they don't understand quite well what benefit it will give them. But from your side, how would you suggested? The family, friends, people you don't know?
In my experience, I feel that it's people you uh, somebody that two things. One is some people are comfortable with speaking to someone that they don't know because they know
Hmm.
that element of judgment is ruled out
Hmm.
completely,
Hmm.
right? So that is it. The other the most important is trust.
Hmm.
Find somebody that you feel that sense of trust. And for those who are providing this support, be that someone that can be trustworthy. Create that space that anybody would want to come and just open up and sometimes just be you know, and I'm not talking about the professionals. They already are trained and they probably already know what to do. But, those who really want to be available for people who
Hmm.
need support, create that safe space for somebody to be vulnerable.
Okay, but that works with people who are already looking for some help.
Right, right.
But there are kind of people like I used to be
Hmm.
that I'm doing everything myself. I don't need anything, any help. Like I will take care of my issues. I will take care of my problems. What would you tell to these people?
It's great, it's great. Everybody takes care of their problems. At the end of the day, we have to take care of our own problems. But if there is something that can help you, you know, um, sail through a little bit more easily,
Hmm.
make you feel more comfortable, make you feel, more alive, more happy. I'm not saying that you're not happy. You are happy. But imagine if you experience a one notch higher. Wouldn't you want to do that? And happiness is something that is very again very very important to understand that everything that we do in life, whether it's a good job, whether it is a good university that we're looking for, or kind of car that we drive, anything that we want, it is because we are all seeking for that happiness. We
Hmm.
all, whether it is a new phone or a new car, why are we buying that? Because we feel that it's going to make me happy, and it does. It
Well,
does, for a period of time.
yeah.
Then what?
Would you buy your phone or a car for your own happiness or for validation from others?
Very good point. Very, very good point,
So it
right?
doesn't really make you happy. You just want an attention and validation. Oh, you've got such a good car. The car is just a transport.
Exactly.
So it shouldn't be a matter of happiness put into such a things. I would understand a house
Yeah.
because this is where you live with your family. You feel more stable, and that brings you happiness. That's something. But such a things like mobile phone, cars. And no one is talking about, for example, TV, because TV is inside your house. Not many people will see it, right? But mobile, car, designer bags, shoes, something that everyone else will see.
Yeah.
And this is adding to the status, and this is, well, image. And that's actually that feeling that you want people to see
Yeah.
how how this changes you. I don't think it's really adding to the happiness.
Totally. But even that, when they're doing that as well, is because somewhere deep inside they feel, and that's why I'm saying it's always it's an illusion of
Hmm.
happiness. That okay, this is where I'm getting happiness. When I buy this, I get happiness. Also, if like what you correctly said, if you're doing it for that just for validation from people, how long are you going to continue doing it?
Hmm.
What stresses one out is when you have to keep up with that.
Hmm.
You wear out after a point. It's like, oh God, I've just bought an iPhone 10, just giving an example, and
Yeah,
here there's a new version already,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So how much are you going to keep running? And this is what we all are doing. We are
Hmm.
constantly running behind something or the other. And like what we said in the beginning, we need to pause for a moment and ask some very, very important questions. Whatever direction that I'm heading in, is it making me happy,
Hmm.
right? Or am I just being worn out?
Mhm.
in doing all, what's the point of having a very, very well paid, high paid job when you come home super exhausted, when you can't even enjoy your weekends, when you can't do any of those things? What's the point? Meditation, yoga, these holistic techniques that are there, that have stood the test of time, they help you, give you that kind of energy. If you're a very passionate person and if you're very ambitious, you
Mhm.
need that energy as well, right? To continuously doing that. And there's no right or wrong. There's no
Mhm.
right or wrong. You can be whoever you want to be, but you also need to keep replenishing your energy. And meditation, yoga are these amazing sources which kind of gives you that break from everything else, so your body can repair, you can regain your energy, you know at your at your own will, at your fingertips, whenever you want. You just sit with your pranayama, and you sit and you can gain your calmness, you can gain your energy, your focus. Even the lifestyle that everybody has, why are we reaching this stage of so much of depression everywhere? And competition is something, again, we spoke about the last time.
Mhm.
There's a lot of competition as well. um, and validation, we're constantly seeking for validation, even young kids, everywhere. Why is there so much of it right now? Now, of course, pandemic had a big role to play, but even before pandemic, we had seen that increase of depression cases and anxiety and stress and all of that.
Mhm.
Ever think about why is that happening so much right now?
Why?
Because one is, we have forgotten to we have not figured out why and where are we going.
Mhm.
We have just jumped on the train wherever everything is going, everybody is going. We just follow the herd. Media has a big role to play in that as well. Like we said, there's pros and cons of it. But the negative side of it is that it influences so much, and it makes you feel that there is a lack.
Mhm.
There is a lack, whether there is a lack financially, whether there is a lack, I don't know, in the way you look, or a lack in the love that you have, but there is a sense of lack. And when the focus is so much on lack, anything, where the mind goes, it grows.
Mhm.
So when we start focusing, like, I don't have this, and you start working really hard for that, but you forget that it is only this moment that is true to you. This is the only moment where you are alive, where you are really. So, yes, you can work for it, you can plan for it, but not by completely depleting yourself and, coming home super exhausted and worn out, where you can't even enjoy the food that you have on your plate.
Mhm.
We've
Mhm.
forgotten to be grateful for simple things, like the food in your plate. You know, so many people in the world don't even have that. That's a luxury for them, to have this whole nice, fancy, you know, like sometimes. Now, I know this is my personal view, and, everyone has
Mhm.
their choice and everything. But I do feel sometimes, like in when you go to these five-star hotels and restaurants, and,
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah.
amount of money we pay for the food, the amount of food that gets wasted in these hotels
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
restaurants, towards the
Buffet,
end of every
different.
day.
Yes. Mhm.
And at the same time, there are parts of the world that does not have even one meal to eat.
Mhm. Mm.
So there's such a huge imbalance, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's a totally different topic about wastage of food. I
Yeah,
used to work in a hotel and I've seen it. The some part of the food would go to the staff cafeteria,
yeah,
but the rest will be just, yes, thrown away. I understand about safety and food preparation. I understand
yeah.
about expiration and how long the food can be, but I'm sure something can be done. I'm sure it can be um, rep-
Yeah.
reproduced. Something could be done. There are some hotels that joined this initiative for feeding stray dogs
Mm,
from the food that, yes, left
yeah.
over, whatever is safe. They packaging and they sending to the rescue organization. Yes, That's some of the way to
Yeah,
reuse the food.
true.
But yeah, talking about people in the world who struggle to
Mm.
survive because the lack of any nutrition, any food that they have. That's really, yeah. But I absolutely agree with what you're saying, Vishali. But I think when people are talking about their happiness, I think it's all goes down to basics. What's your values? What's your beliefs? What do
Totally.
you say? Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
it does. It values, beliefs, and also how you've been brought up. You know, your
environment
from
and culture.
environment.
That's yes. Mm-hmm.
So I have a friend of mine, and she's such an inspiration, Christina, and
Hope she doesn't
she.
mind
No, I'm
being
sure she doesn't
mentioned.
mind. She's lovely. She's such an
Hi,
inspiration.
Christina.
So she has brought her children up in such a way. They don't have a television at home.
Mhm,
They have a very, very healthy lifestyle. Yoga, meditation from a very young age, it has been introduced into their lives.
mhm,
One of the kids, doesn't even have a mobile phone, even though he's in school at whatever age, I can't
mm,
remember the age, but teenager.
mhm,
So it's amazing, when parents start taking this kind of responsibility and start educating their kids right from a very young age that, you know what, you're not dependent on that mobile phone. You don't have to have a mobile phone. Whereas, yes, I understand, that it's good to have as well and all of that. Pros and cons are there and everything, but I'm more of a believer that there is this right age and right time for everything.
mhm.
So, I feel that it starts from home. What is happiness?
Definitely.
It starts in school. How do you manage your mind? Not everything has to be encouraged as a competition,
Mhm, mhm.
right? Failure should also be celebrated. Why not?
Yes.
There's so much learning in failure.
Yeah.
So much learning, right? We realize that when we grow up, that all even now, if you look back at your life, Daria, the turning points of your life would be the ones where you have failed miserably. And they would be such amazing, and I'm not saying just fail in career, but like even in whether it's relationship or whether it is something
Mhm.
that majorly was, and those are such beautiful lessons. Like I can
Learning
actually look,
moments.
yeah, and I can actually look back at my life and every incident that has been a turning point in my life, I can actually say, oh, I learned this here, I learned that here. It is so crisp and clear.
So why
But
do
we
we
don't
put so much negativity on failures?
see, this is what I'm saying, that it's so much, there's so much of competition. It's all fed in. It all starts from school. It all starts from home, even home, parents, I think,
Mhm,
Um, we want to incentivize everything, right? If you do this, you get this.
mhm,
So what happens for a kid? I'm attaching my happiness to whatever I'm going to get in the
mhm,
end, right? Whereas if that incentive, I mean, work is different, but when you are a kid, you don't need everything to be incentivized with material gains. It could be in
mhm,
a more creative way, where I don't know, something different, something that adds value to their life.
mhm.
Create, because a child doesn't know, what the value of that whatever material thing that you're giving an incentive for. It all develops when you start giving those incentives.
But it's not always material things. Sometimes it's just a parent's approval. That's what we also strive for.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
if you
true.
did something good, yeah, you're a
Yeah,
good child. If you did
yeah,
something bad, you failed. And I'm
yeah.
not talking about doing something bad. You just failed when you're trying.
Trying.
That
Yeah,
you're not
that.
getting the approval of the parents. I
Yeah,
think this should be changed in a way.
yeah,
High five your kid if they failed. They tried
mhm,
and failed. It's much
yeah.
better than not trying at all.
Totally. When I was training to be a coach in my training center, we had this rule where every time you fail or every time we goofed up about on something, we would
Mhm.
just raise our hands, arms diagonally, and we'll, stretch our leg out and we'll say, ta-da! And we celebrated failure. And I thought that was so powerful. Imagine if something like that was,
Mhm.
adopted by schools,
Mhm.
right? That it's okay to fail. These suicide cases in teenagers, in college going kids, it's very, very high nowadays because there's so much of competition and expectations,
And pressure, yes,
right? And
expectations. Yeah.
pressure, so much of pressure. Even the younger kids, if you see, right, if you just see their school bag. I'll talk about some of the places that I have seen, like the bags that they carry, the amount of books that they have. I'm like, come on. I'm not against education, but we have to be more wise and sensible about what, you know, the, the childhood is being lost, in
Yeah.
just doing this. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember how I was as a kid, going outside and playing was like my thing. The moment the study time was over, I was just wait to go out and play with the kids and, mingle. And you don't see that anymore. Or rarely you see it. Like it's not that common. It's all about now the gadgets. And so,
Yeah, that's a very good topic, especially for parents or new parents or even people who just plan it in the future. You need to think how you will prepare your child for the future,
conditioning of the
emotionally.
mind.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, emotionally and mentally, just to find that resilience to the bad kind of competition. It's not about the gadgets. It's not about who has
Approval.
more expensive things. It's not about approval. Yeah, teach them something that will help them in life, not will help a therapist in the
Yeah,
future who will be sitting and just, yes, going through
very
therapy
well
for
said.
years, what parents did and why I'm like that. Yeah, just be there for them. Mental health. Let's get back to that. I'm very interested in what you're gonna say because in our previous episode, there were some parts that I wished we had a better audio because some points that you were making were just just we need to repeat them. Some of you will hear it the first time, but what do you say to people who's just not accepting that there is mental health issues? It's all just cry for attention, trying to get some um, easy way out.
See, I feel that even somebody who's crying for attention, even if it is just that, even if it is just that, that still is an alarm because
Hmm.
something is not okay. You wouldn't just wake up one morning and cry for attention.
Hmm.
So there's something definitely is not okay that this person that definitely needs, a little bit of and when you go to a coach or when you go to a therapist or a yoga teacher or meditation, they would be able to kind of they should be helping out even if it's just cry for an attention. Why is that cry existing,
Hmm.
right?
Okay, I'm with you. I'll play devil's advocate.
Yes.
Okay, yes, you want attention. You went to therapy. You went to coaching. That's one thing,
Hmm.
but like if I'm a skeptic for mental health issues, I would say that the life before was much harder. We live in a society and in time now that lots of
Hmm.
things, lots of resources are available that weren't
Yeah,
available that time.
back
So
then. Yeah.
why we didn't have such a huge level of mental health issue in a society that when we have now?
One is because at that time there was a huge community feel. We used to all have a good, stronger support system. Um, we used to, there used to be joint families. So family used to live together. Everybody used to live together. So there was very little time to sit and go really deep into how I'm feeling. you
Mhm.
know if you, for example, if you had a big family, and I think Mark had an example because he came from this kind of family, so he shared that as well, that if you come from that kind, so there was a support system. When you have that
Mhm.
kind of family, even if you're feeling a little sad, there will always be somebody or the other knocking on your door, and you move on to the next thing. And so what happens is you're not really dwelling deep into that space of victim consciousness.
Mhm.
You quickly move on to the next. Whereas now, all the families are nuclear families. So where
Mhm.
do you seek for support? This is where, again, yoga and meditation is very useful so that you prevent yourself from reaching that stage. So the moment these kind of thoughts or these feelings, start rising up, instantly, pick up your yoga mat, get on your yoga mat. You do 5, 10 Surya Namaskars, and you will be out of that mindset.
Mhm.
At
Okay.
least for that moment. I'm not saying that your whole life is going to change, but
Mhm.
that moment, it is going to change for you.
Mhm.
Breathing techniques. So I think the support system that we used to have back then, and also the more gadgets, the more convenience that is there, has made us more dependent,
Mhm.
I think, than what we used to be. We used to be very independent back then, like we would. I think we spoke about it last time as well. I'm not sure whether it was on this talk or another one, but that calculator, we are so dependent on calculator. We don't remember a single number anymore because we have a mobile and everything is stored in
Mhm.
there. But back in the days, you would remember everybody's number, every important number you'd remember, right? A telephone number.
Mhm.
We don't anymore. So yes, whereas everything is convenient right now, but at the same time, it's also made us very alone.
Mhm.
Even the sense of belongingness, you know,
Mhm.
your neighbors, for example. Now we don't know who stays next door. But back in the days, you would go to each other's house, you'd bake a cake and you'll take, and if you've made some nice good food. I remember this so clearly when I was growing up. My mother still practices it, but every other day, like the neighbor's house, if you've made something nice, that variety, you go and share it with the neighbor. And the neighbor will bring. That used to always be there. That's your support system. We all belong to each other. Now
Mhm.
that's all kind of, that link is broken. It still is there. We all want that belongingness, but because of everything, all the, and I don't want to keep saying gadgets and technology and all of that, because there is a good side to it as well. But that
Mhm.
has somehow, in the bargain, really kind of disconnected us.
Mhm.
So this is where I feel, is also one of the reasons why now it is more so than it used to be.
Mhm. I will agree on especially on anxiety, because when people are living in a future and imagining millions of different situations that may or may not happen, usually they not, but we are stressing out about that. But I would like just to clarify that depression, it's not just feeling sad or sorry for yourself. If you have a case of depression, or you know someone that going through that, please recommend them to go and seek help. um, uh, because sometimes even your closest one, they don't understand it, but it doesn't mean that they don't love you. They're not aware, they're not into that topic. So you just need to find people who will help you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Shali.
Very,
Yeah.
very, very well said. Because there are a lot of times that even if they want to help, they don't know how to. You need
Yeah,
um, especially,
they're trying as much as
but
they
they
can. Just
can.
say, yeah, just don't feel sad for yourself. Don't feel sorry for yourself.
Mm,
You should be happy. You should,
mm,
use
yeah,
gratitude. But in the case of depression, it's
yeah,
a bit different. So
different.
you need
Yeah.
to be
So
careful.
no,
Yeah,
what I meant was like family members. If
yeah, yeah,
even if they want to, they don't know how to help.
yes,
So it's best to
yeah,
seek that the professional support.
professional.
But even for depression, there have been researches, there have been studies that have been done. Recently, there was one that was done on breath work called Sudarshan Kriya in Yale
Hmm.
University, in Oxford. All of these places, these researches have been done that it has tremendously helped. So, go out there, there's, see, again, I also feel why somebody would not want, if we really dissect that, why would somebody not want to go out and say, that I need help,
Hmm.
because we
Because
don't
of the stigma. That's
stigma,
the
because
topic. That's the
yeah,
topic we didn't have time to talk about last time. But yes,
yeah,
please let's talk about it.
yeah, because we don't want to be labeled
Hmm.
that this person is going through depression, and also I think with depression, there's lot of there could be less awareness about um, what it can do or what it can lead to if it is not addressed at the right time.
Hmm.
you know
Hmm.
so I think, although there is a lot of stuff available, but when you're going through it, maybe you don't want to accept it because you don't want to be in that space, that I
Hmm.
am going through this. I can't, I can manage this isn't that. This isn't depression. So
Hmm.
my only message to anybody who's experiencing something like that, or who can relate to what I'm saying, is that, you know hopefully it is not that, but speak to somebody, so that
Hmm.
you know and you can do something about it. The more quicker you address it, the more quicker, the more chances for you to start feeling good, start feeling
Hmm.
better, right? At the end of the day, that's what we want. We want all
Take back
you know,
control.
take back control. And so many people have, what I'm very impressed with is, a lot of celebrities have now come out and spoken about their stories of depression, which gives a lot of strength that if they can speak about it, it's no longer a taboo thing, or it's not taboo, but
Hmm.
it's no longer a label
Yeah.
thing, where it has a negative this thing to it, impact to
Hmm.
it. So I think, um, yeah, this is what I feel.
Hmm. That's totally is true. Um, few tips or methods that someone can use daily just to keep your mental health in check, um, get this level of anxiety a little bit under control, feeling
Yeah,
happy, or just trying to make your day, you know, um, as um, as happy as possible. Yeah, as easy as possible. So, a few tips.
so my first question would be that, we wake up first thing in the morning, we take bath, we wear fresh clothes, we brush our teeth, we do so much for our physical hygiene. Have we thought about what about our mental hygiene? Every day we meet people, we have experiences. There is so much of impressions that we take into our mind, into our system. Our feelings get triggered. What about cleansing that? So you're absolutely right that every day, just like how we clean our physical body, we must clean our mind, so that we get good sleep. What are some of the simple things that you can do? One is, if you have access to, and now it's yoga and meditation is available everywhere. If you have access to a yoga teacher or a meditation teacher, go and learn it properly, so that once you've learned it, then you can come home and continue practicing it.
Hmm.
If you sit and do it on your own, there are chances that, yoga you can still follow, but meditation, there are chances you may feel like, okay, I don't think I'm doing it right, I'm having too many thoughts. But if you
It's
have a
not working
meditation
for
teacher,
me. Hmm.
it's not working for me. Yeah. So, if you have a meditation teacher, they can, take you through that
Hmm.
process much more easily. And then once you have experience that rest, right? It is a deep rest that we are looking at. That's where a lot of cleansing happens. Once you've experienced that, you can then do it on your own. So meditation is definitely something I highly recommend. If you haven't got the time right now, at least just 15-20 minutes, just sit by yourself, no mobile phones. If you want, just put slow soft music. um, if nothing, then you just sit with yourself and just observe your thoughts. What's happening? Oh, I'm getting a thought about food, I'm getting a thought about work, how random my thoughts are. Bring your focus back onto your breath. Okay, that
Mhm.
okay, I'm breathing in and out, I'm breathing in and out. Again, the thoughts will take you to different sides. Go and come back to the breath. This is very, very simple that you can do. The other thing is, wake up in the morning and first thing, set the tone for the day, right? There are so many things to be grateful for. Pick 5 things that you can be grateful for today. Every day, random different things. Simple things like my ability to see. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful I can taste food. In Corona times, we know a lot of people have lost the taste and
Yes.
how it feels. So it's amazing thing to be grateful for that. Anything, I have a bed to sleep, I have, a car to drive, whatever comes to your mind. But 5 things that you start religiously being grateful for, that I am going to, whatever it is that you're going to be grateful for. You do
You
your
can
20
actually
minutes.
start journaling all this. Yes.
You can do that as well. Just
Mm.
write down 5 things that you're grateful for today and then tomorrow, and then let that be your habit. Um, do 20 minutes of meditation, 15 to 20 minutes of meditation. And the third thing, if you can, look for opportunities in your day where you can contribute, where you can help, or where you have just, even if it's something simple as you've, I don't know, helped somebody cross the road or carry somebody's bag, because it was very heavy and you saw that they are struggling. Have that sense of belongingness and that oneness, that, we are there for each other. That
Mhm.
can make big difference, and you will see that. Because the most rewarding feeling is when you are able to give and not just receive.
Mhm.
So these are the 3 things that you can start with.
Beautifully said, Shali. I think this is the simple things, and everyone can do them, and it might actually turn things around for you without even realizing. Once you do it as a habit, I think
Hmm,
you will see the difference. Yeah. Thank you,
totally.
Shali.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to use in this place and time? Would you like to convey?
I think the only thing that keeps coming to me again and again today, and I don't know why that is happening, is just increased its sense of belongingness. We all belong to each other. We all are there. We all have been through at some point or the other. We've experienced anxiety. We've experienced depression. Maybe not everybody's experienced depression, but we have touched that borderline. We know what it feels like, or we know somebody
Mhm.
that we love may have experienced that. So create that space, that belongingness. Let's go back to how we used to be, when it comes to community, when it comes to support system. Let's be that support. If today somebody at work, is really struggling, go out there, and if you finished your work, go and help. What difference does it
Mhm.
make? Right? That belongingness, that, we belong to each other. We, are here. I'm here for you and I want nothing from you. To be able to be available for somebody is a huge gift.
Mhm.
So go out there, like just look around. You'll see, that there are people who are crying for help. Maybe it's not through words, but you can sense it in their vibration. That maybe I just want to sit next to somebody who's going through something silently. You don't even have to give any advice, nothing. Let them just speak, or just be there. Just send your positive light and just belong to each
Thank you. That's amazing. That's it's a easy thing to do, but not so many people do that, unfortunately. And if we can just put that empathy back a little
other.
bit, just lending your listening ear, just lending 5 minutes of your time to help someone, I think the world will become a better place, and it will be easier for people with anxiety not to worry because you have this amazing community around you. That's very, very true. Thank you, Vaishali. So, for people who will be watching, I'll leave all descriptions below about Vaishali and her work. You can always contact her. As for this channel, please like the video, subscribe, comment any topics that you would like for us to discuss or related to the video that you're watching. Comment below. We'll reply either on our next video or in comments as well. And please subscribe, hit that notification so you will know next time when we're live. We're going live every Thursday. And please come and join us. We have different guests every Thursday. And yeah, I think I'll be interviewing more guests that been on our channel before, because when you have a panel of guests, you don't have that chance to get more intimate into the questions and really listen, because you'd like to give attention to everyone. But I think this is something that we will be doing now. Thank you, Vishali, for being our first guest.
Thank you. And I also want to thank you, Daria, for this amazing initiative, because this is also a way of contributing to the society. I feel that, the more discussions happen on these kind of topics, the more awareness we are spreading, and the more we get to know the different kind of mindsets. Because I know that in the last session as well, you had different guests from different walks of life, which makes it
Mm-hmm,
interesting
mm-hmm.
conversation. So all
Exactly.
the best, and
Thank
I'm
you.
very happy that you're doing this, and thank you for
Thank
inviting
you.
me.
And we'll see you whenever you feel like we'll see you back. Always happy to have you.
Same
Thank you,
here.
Shali. Thank
Thank
you.
you.